Welcome to another episode, season 14, Middle Ground with JLE, where we treat you like family. I still ain't got my intro, but I'm doing it live now. Y'all know about it now. Until I get it back up, we're gonna do it real life. I do got a little bit of singing skill. Here we go. 313 Detroit love, the Motor City. Detroit love, can't nothing stop me. Detroit love, I love my city. Detroit love. So off the first album, JLE Experience, on the music and copyright. Don't mute on Facebook. Have another great guest for you today. I have public safety philanthropist, community champion, and eco-environmental solutions CEO, Gary Ringer. Welcome to the show, sir.
Appreciate you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Quiet, please. My cat in there making noise. First time ever. First question. What led you to this path?
Man, in regards to the path, you talking about the work that I'm currently doing?
Yeah, what got, because you got the eco company, so what got you to that point?
Yeah. Just to give you a little background, retired firefighter for the city of Detroit, 23
Okay.
years. Before that, I used to build homes in the suburbs of Metro Detroit, which gave me an awesome opportunity to contrast vibrant and volatile. So within that volatile aspect of what I was seeing,
Mm-hmm.
I was on that side of the street. That was the community that, wasn't and so when we talking about early 90s, there
Oh,
was
yeah.
there wasn't a whole lot of building going on in the city of Detroit. So
Nope.
coming back, I'm leaving from 7 Mile Lasser area, and I'm going to Rogel Golf Course area, going to Troy, Bloomfield,
Mm-hmm.
Rochester Hills areas, and building 35, 45,000 square feet homes. And I'm looking at the community that is thriving. And then I'm coming back to where I lived. And I'm like, man, like I can fix up this one, that one,
Okay.
but I didn't have any resources. I didn't have any opportunities to do that. So within that being said, um, it got somewhat overwhelming to the point to where I'm like, I want to be able to make a difference in the community that I serve. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I started looking at being a public servant, and found out about the fire department. And within that, started talking with other guys. I was working out at the YMCA at 7 Mile and Lasser. And a lot of folks say Lasser, but it actually is pronounced Lasser, Lahser. For folks that say Lasser, Lasher is Lasher. But with that being said, that's just from my growing up. I always said Lasher, Lasher, Lasher. Then I looked at it, and then even when you cross over 8 Mile, it's Lasser. Oh, I go to Lasser High School. Oh, Lasser, where's that at? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right around.
Oh, that's where I'm at. I'm just down the block. So within that being said, I got on the fire department. I started working at 14 years old, and I knew that working a traditional 9 to 5 wasn't really something that I was about, but I knew I was about providing for myself and my family. So I didn't have a problem working. I just knew that I wanted to work differently than other individuals. Well, I know I wanted to work differently than what I had been to kind of, get to a different point. And so when I found out about the fire department, if folks don't know, the fire department equates to about 2 days a week, um, 8 to 9 days a month, and we do a 24-hour shift. So within those 2 days, we getting over 40 hours, and so a lot of people may not be built for that, and it's not built for a lot of people. Like if you're married and you don't want to be away from home, if it's a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that you have to give up in order to get something from that career. And so within that, I knew that, this is something that was for me because I knew I had worked um numerous jobs, numerous different schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Worked at a photo processing plant called Qualex. We worked 6 days, 12 to 15 hours a day. And I'm like, nah, I want to be able to still be able to control my life. I grew up looking at my mom and my dad and know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, mom may be in a better mood than dad is. Let me talk to her about this. Or dad may be in a better mood than what mom is. Let me talk to her about that. So I'm like, no, I want to change up the trajectory of my life. I don't want to be held to a traditional 40 hours. And so I got on with the fire department. And within that, it transformed uh, the life that I was living from
Mm-hmm.
the standpoint of being able to see not just the community that I lived in, but the communities all surrounding the city of Detroit. So I thought that the blight that I looked at when I came home from building homes in the suburbs was just prevalent where I was at. But when
Mm-hmm.
I became a firefighter, I saw blight all throughout 400 plus square miles of the city of Detroit. Whether it was Rosedale Park, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson Chalmers, it's blight all throughout the city of Detroit. We putting out fires all throughout the city of Detroit, and it just really opened my eyes to like, how can we do something different to create the same communities that I'm driving 30, 40 minutes away and building up these these monumental establishments that folks are moving into. And so within that, about 5 years after becoming a firefighter, I still saw blight, abandonment, fire damaged properties, and instead of me sticking my chest out and being cool with like, yeah, we put this fire out, we put that fire out, I said, what can I do differently to, create some change within my community? I started volunteering at nonprofit organizations, something I had done since I was about
Okay.
14, 15 years old. And then from there, uh, I was able to see, okay, my voice is being heard differently than folks that may have tradition transversed and traditionally went through going to
Mm-hmm.
school for 4 years and saying, hey, I want to do community development, I want to do urban planning, I want to do architecture, but they have really no outlet and no equity lens on what they're really getting into. And so to be able to come from seeing the disenfranchisement and the things that can be improved, I had a different outlook on what can be done to improve the network and the makeup of our community. And so that's what really got me into doing the work that I'm currently doing within Eco Environmental Solutions, where I'm CEO and founder. So we provide opportunities for residents to understand that where they are is not where they have to be. And so a lot of times we can talk about what DTE is doing. We can talk about what's going on with the air quality outside. But what can we talk about what's going on within where we're currently at? Within the household where we are, let's just focus on what we have currently going on where we're at. And then from there, build that out.
Okay, since we on, that's the same question. What does that look like if someone called you for your services?
Yeah, traditionally, how that really looks like, I work with nonprofit organizations, particularly
Mm-hmm.
those that service low to moderate income communities. And I come to their house and I do an assessment of what is currently going on within their home, whether it be a leaky roof, whether it be leaky plumbing, whether it be poor indoor air quality, whether that be water infiltration in the basement, whatever is going on, I catalog all of those inequities,
Mm-hmm.
and then I translate that to the nonprofit organization that I might work with, and then from there we figure out solutions to help them to essentially improve the quality of their life.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it really is. From the perspective of putting out fires and then riding past those same fires 5 years, 10 years later, and those same houses are still standing, or they may even been demolished. And from there, okay, yeah, it's demolished, but a lot of times, you got people that living on the left side and the right side
Mm-hmm.
of this building for years that's waiting for something to happen. I get immediate impact from the work that I do, and I really am gratified within being able to say, "Hey, I supported that work."
Okay. And my cousin Derek say this is fire. Appreciate you watching, cuz. Now, I saw on your LinkedIn, public safety philanthropist. What does that look like?
Yeah, that you asking me that. From a public safety perspective, anything and everything that I've done has come from protecting and serving the community.
Okay.
From the philanthropy side, you can't do any of this work on a higher scale unless you have support. And I've been blessed to be able to have philanthropic support for the work that I've done. I was funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation in
Okay.
2018, 2019. Robert Wood Johnson Foundation is the largest healthcare philanthropy in the country, about a $43 billion philanthropy endowment. And within that, I was able to see folks that were doing this work all across the country in regards to supporting low to moderate income residents and improving their and enhancing their quality of life from where they're at. Not trying to talk about what they could do or what they
Mm-hmm.
should do, but where they are and helping them improve their quality of their life. And so when I say public safety philanthropist, it's not just philanthropy from the perspective of public safety, but also the public at large,
Mm-hmm.
so that the work that you need to be done, that I'm coming to the forefront to make sure that that work is done.
Okay. And we have Asia Chain saying yes you do. Appreciate the comment. And you being a firefighter, you're real like a superhero, man.
I'm actually retired, but within that, once again, like I said, uh, it can be easy to stick your chest out and and be cool with putting the fire out, putting what we call the wet stuff on the red stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality of it is, it's still remnants of that that's
Mm-hmm.
within that community. So within that, how can we make sure that we're supporting not just the need that is prevalent when we're there, but after
After
we
fact.
leave? Yeah. How are we making sure that their needs are being met? Not just say, hey, yeah, hey, call Red Cross. And a lot of times you hear people, oh yeah, Red Cross is here. But Red Cross supports most residents for 2 to 3 days. They may put you up in a hotel, they may give you
Mm-hmm.
food, but after that, what's going on from there? So
Yeah.
we seen just recently it was a apartment explosion over off 1300 block of, I can't even remember the street,
Littlefield.
off
That
Littlefield. Absolutely.
alert. I remember that alert came
So
across.
so when they say that Red Cross was there, okay, Red Cross was there, but it's been about a week since that incident occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with those residents? Because they actually tore down that whole apartment complex.
Ooh.
And most people don't realize, once again, like I first stated, within the work that I've done, I would put out fires and I would ride past those same buildings 5, 10 years later, and they're still standing. So
Mm.
tearing down the building, it may seem drastic to a lot of individuals, but the reality of it is that's what needs to happen in order for something else to occur
Yeah.
going forward. And it definitely was drastic. But if you were in Rochester or if you were in Farmington Hills, That's
What they gonna do?
standard practice.
Yeah, because
Standard practice.
you don't want no criminals or nothing taking over that spot and making the neighborhood worse. So if you ain't gonna do something with it ASAP, you gotta tear it down.
And you don't want to ride past that for 10, 15, 20 years. So shout out to my man Donald Thomas, who is our current fire marshal. In the past, once again, that when I came onto the job, that was standard practice. You would see houses that were leaning, how folks that were living with houses that were fire damaged for 20, 30 years. And that's 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 something that won't happen in a different community. We have to
Mm-hmm.
set the standard higher than what it has been in the past, and to see that that transition is starting to happen is something that I'm glad that that has transitioned.
Yeah, I graduated in '96, and I remember you would walk through neighborhoods, and if it was a fire, they put it out. The house was still there, even though it like to be knocked down, but it was still sitting there, eyesore, unfortunately. Now, with your expertise, what would cause the explosion?
Most likely it was due to a gas leak,
Okay.
uh, and then even within a gas leak, a lot of people don't realize, like, when you're going to smell natural gas due to the fact there has been an addition an additive added to natural gas,
Mm-hmm.
gives it a smell of almost rotten eggs. So you're going to smell it, but what most likely happened was folks dismissed that smell, and then from there, that's when the situation occurred. All it takes is for somebody to go to cook something and light their stove, go to
Mm-hmm.
light a cigarette, anything of the case. Once
Mm-hmm.
that gas builds up, it's going to be an opportunity for an explosion to occur. And I think I just saw,
Like
uh,
today, like four situations I read today happened across the city, well, Metro Detroit areas.
yeah, there was just a story that was reported to where within the last past month there's been 4 explosions within Metro Detroit, and
That's
so
hot.
that leads us to the opportunity to uh decarbonize our homes. And so when we say decarbonize, that refers to decarbonization. And so when we say decarbonization, we're talking about getting rid of gas burning appliances within our homes. So that is your gas furnace, your gas water heater, your gas stove, create an opportunity to where you don't have to deal with those issues,
Mm-hmm.
especially within communities that are encumbered with poor outdoor air quality. Like, yeah, we can jump up and down, and we can talk about marathon, we can talk about DTE, we can talk about all of the corporate polluters, and it's been talked about for the last past 50, 60 years. But what can we do within our own homes to
Mm-hmm.
create that change that we know needs to happen to be able to create an enhanced quality of life, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
within that enhanced quality of life, we want to say, okay, yeah, okay, I had these issues going on, but since I got rid of these issues, my child is breathing better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when we turn on our central air as opposed to open our windows, it's a better environment for us as a family. And
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten those reports from families that have said, due to these home repairs, due to the supports that the organizations that you work with are providing, it's enhancing the quality of life for myself and my family. And I think a lot of times we don't really look at
Mm-hmm.
uh, what we can do ourselves. We look at what other folks aren't doing, and I think that's an opportunity that we're not taking advantage of by mitigating what we can within our own homes.
That I agree with you on that. Now, how did Michigan political leadership program prepare you for now?
Man, I would say it actually positioned me to understand. the meeting of bipartisanship. Yeah. And I appreciate you from an educator, an author, a musician, and a journalist, and a businessman yourself. I appreciate that laugh because I've always looked at my life through the lens of being a Democrat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nothing gets passed without bipartisan support.
Absolutely.
Period. So, like the trifecta in Michigan just happened. That just happened. 30 something years. There's never been a trifecta where we held the governorship, the Senate, and the House. Never
Yeah.
happened. And I will tell you, honestly, unequivocally, my quality of life and the work that I do within philanthropy and within
Mm-hmm.
supporting low income, moderate income residents and the organization I work with
Mm-hmm.
had tremendously been pushed to the forefront within this trifecta
Nice.
opportunity that we just recently had. But once again, that took 30 plus 40 years in order for that to happen. So
Yeah.
the political leadership program gave me an opportunity to actually chop it up with Republicans. And so within that opportunity, I want to say it's like 10 months, 8 months, Michigan Political Leadership Program is one of the only bipartisan leadership programs across the country that has been going strong for 20 plus, almost 30 years, if not longer than that, to where you essentially have no choice but to chop it up. And so when I say, hey, Dr. Jeffrey, when I say no choice, like they make you room with the opposite party. They
Nice.
ask, like, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm a Democrat. Oh yeah, well, you're gonna be rooming with my man. And every time you had to room with somebody that was a different political ideology than yourself. And so within that, I had the opportunity to look at and talk with people that were younger than me, that were older than me, that still held some of the same values that I
Mm-hmm.
had at the forefront. And even still, once again, like I still never really understood that, like, yeah, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, but that still doesn't get the legislation to the to the finish line.
Yep.
You still have to have bipartisan support. And when I say bipartisan, bipartisan means Republican and Democrats have to support the legislation, the initiatives that are being pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a humble guy. I never really thought that I would be involved with politics or want to be associated with, you know, shucking and jiving and shaking hands and how you doing. Honestly, I'm honest with you, man. Like it's people that I've introduced myself to multiple times. Hey, how you doing, Gary Ringer? How you doing, Gary Ringer? How you doing, Gary Ringer? To the point I'm like, how many times I want to introduce myself to this clown? Like he got to know who I am. I don't care how many people he met, but I know
I
with
hear
the
you.
walk that I know the work that I'm trying to do. That's what I had to do to be able to
Mm-hmm.
get to the forefront to where I can say I'm a business owner. I'm a public safety philanthropist. I'm somebody that's been funded by a national organization. I'm somebody that's looked to as a leader within this work, whether it be home repairs, whether it be public safety, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
fire, whether it be emergency response, anything and everything. I'm looked to within my circle as somebody that has gone above and beyond for the last past 10 to 15 years before they cut the check. Like I was doing this before it
Right.
was sexy. And I'm appreciative of that. And so being welcomed into that environment, uh 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 um Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson has been
Mm-hmm.
LP fellow. Senator Sylvia Santana has been an MPLP fellow. Like the list goes on and on of people that are affecting change in our communities. And within
Nice.
that, they asked me like, so what's your next step? Are you looking to run for something? I said no.
You know, brother, I don't want to say nothing, but I straight when you start saying I straight saw Gary Ranger for Senate or something here.
No,
I straight saw that.
no, I'm cool, man. I want to be known as somebody that's not caught up in the rigmarole of the politics. And I greatly appreciate my elected leaders, my elected officials
Mm-hmm.
that are wallowing through that and still making it happen for the communities that they serve. But I know for myself, I'm a boots on the pavement guy, and
Okay.
I want to be extricably linked to the boots on the pavement. But then within that, I still want to be like, hey, I know where your position is on this issue, and
Mm-hmm.
I have some community folks that can support what you're trying to push forward. And I think from where I'm currently at, I think that helps to support our the folks that are doing the work that I don't think that I can do at this time. Maybe at a later date,
Okay.
but currently right now,
Because
I
I keep saying it when you keep talking, brother. So I won't be shocked when that day comes.
yeah,
And Aisha said you did an amazing job getting your name out there. Thank you for the comment. We really appreciate you tuning in.
I appreciate that.
And for those that don't know, because I'm not a bragging person, but I listen to the guy when he say you need to say something. I'm more obedient now. I do have 40 countries that tune in to this, so
Oh, I
more
appreciate it.
people are paying attention to this. So
Thank you.
you're doing something phenomenal
Thank
that you don't think about. Like, okay, well, this house got burnt down. We're gonna do something about it.
you. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, okay, well, I know a guy.
Yeah. And I still wanna I wanna come back to that.
Go ahead.
A lot of times within the work that the fire department does, it's equated to putting the wet stuff on the red stuff. But a lot of people don't realize 80%, 85% of our runs are medical emergencies. And so within those medical emergencies, that
Mhm.
that equates to lifting, folks that may be, obese. That equates to, making sure that your loved one is getting to that urgent care in a timely fashion. So at one
Mhm.
point in time, I'm sure a lot of your residents or a lot of your listeners can remember to where response time in the city of Detroit was abominable. Uh,
Yeah, I ain't want to say it, but you ain't lying.
yeah, was about
You ain't lying.
we had one of our EMS union leaders that got on the news and said Detroit Fire Department, Detroit EMS is the worst in the country, and he was right. We were bottom of the line in regards to response time. But what I will tell you now is we top of the totem pole. We gonna get
Okay.
not in 17 27 minutes, we get into your house in 7 to 10 minutes. And that's something that hadn't occurred within my time being on the job from 2000 until 2020 2023. And so within that being said, that's quicker response times
Absolutely.
loved one that may be having a heart attack. That's quicker response time to your loved one that may be having difficulty breathing. That's quicker response time to your loved one
Hmm.
who just may not be feeling well in general. And so all of that occurred from the Detroit bankruptcy. And so when the bankruptcy occurred, one of the things that was mandated was that we were going to become emergency medical response responders, emergency,
Okay.
and so most people don't realize before bankruptcy, Detroit Fire Department was two factions. We were together, but we were separate. If there was an emergency response for a medical, EMS responded. Detroit Fire Department EMS responded. If they needed us, they would call us. So if
Okay.
getting somebody out of a car, things of that nature. But once the bankruptcy occurred, we became emergency medical responders, and then from there, whenever EMS is called, we're called, because now not only are we MFRs, medical first responders, we're also EMTs. And so if you go to anywhere throughout the country, most fire departments are either EMTs, which is emergency medical technicians, or they're paramedics. And so in the city of Detroit for years, all we were MFRs, which is medical first responders, which is a 40-hour course over the course, 5 days, 8 hours. And then a lot of times guys went through 30, 40 years of their career and they never even renewed that certification.
Oh,
So yeah. So so within that being said, we're we're currently at a precipice to where we're on par with all major cities across the country. And I think a lot of people don't really realize that.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and within that being said, when we say we're responding within 7 to 10 minutes, as compared to 17 to 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
that's the line, the thin line between your loved one living and your loved one
Mm-hmm.
passing.
That's true. That is so true, man. Because I remember that back. I mean, Flavor Flav had that song 911 was a joke in the 90s. And a lot of people like, that's he talk about my city. He talk about my city. Like, man, we're gonna take him myself because y'all ain't meet us at the hospital. And
Yes,
it's great that we are being more of what a city does with the resources to help people. And she says, well said. Appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. Now, community champion. Is that a moniker? How you get that?
man. I got that because a lot of the work that I do is in
Okay.
and for the community that I serve. Uh, for a number of years before I became uh acclimated to getting a check for supporting
Mm-hmm.
the residents outside of fighting fires, I did it from a volunteer perspective for
Okay.
10 plus years. And so when I say community champion, there's a resident. When I was working, I was a director of community economic development at Joy Southfield CDC. My man Jeffrey stayed a block away from the nonprofit that I worked at.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we were putting up our farmers market, Jeffrey was there. Whenever we was doing anything, Jeffrey was there. And Jeffrey didn't have a job, but Jeffrey was a community champion. I always told him, I mean, you a community champion, Jeffrey. And he laughed, he loved, oh, and that wasn't like to, just stoke his ego. That was how I felt about what he did because it wasn't a lot of people that showed up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not showing up for the Facebook posts, the Instagram posts. I'm showing up for the community. So I'm a community champion. And so within that moniker, I choose to spread that throughout the community whenever I see somebody that steps up. I don't care whether you work or whether you don't work. If you show up, you're a community champion.
Yeah, because people don't care like they used to when we came up. We,
Absolutely.
we had more of a village compared to the separation over the years. And that kind of kept crime and kids from doing all the bad stuff. Because Miss So and So is gonna tell your mama he was with them thug kids trying to take somebody bite, and that whooping is waiting on you when you get home, and you ain't gonna do it again because
Yes,
you're gonna
sir.
go there and apologize to her for even seeing you acting up. She shouldn't have saw
Hey, you already know. Hey,
that.
that's exactly how it used to be. And unfortunately, we've cowered
Yeah.
to the courage of supporting the community that we live in, right?
Yep.
We'll rather drive past these abandoned, blighted, fire damaged properties as if that's our norm, because it is our norm. But you'll go out to another area and you won't throw that bag of trash out the window.
Nope.
Keep
You
it.
won't throw that, man.
But so within that being said, like, everybody is a community champion. Like, step up for the community that you serve. Step up for what we are, as Black folks in general, our community it looks the way that it does because it's intentional. So at some point in time, we have to collectively get out our feelings,
Mm-hmm.
get out of where we're at, and control what we can control. And as simple as keeping our trash in our vehicle, we buying stuff on a regular basis.
Man,
Almost $2 trillion a year in non-consumable goods. So keep 5 or 6
sir.
bags in your car and fill it up with trash, and then throw that away when you get home. Simple
Mm-hmm.
as that. At some point in time, the stuff that's not being said needs to be said, and I'm an individual that's gonna say it. You can
Yeah.
get offended if you want to get offended, but the reality of it is, each one teach one. Many hands
Mm-hmm.
make light work. Let's make the work light.
I agree. And Asia says, "Thanks for your service. Appreciate the comment. Keep them coming." And I'm accustomed now to summertime where I'm at in Detroit. If they throw food in the street or break glass, I go get my broom and dustpan and take my time and sweep the street because I got to drive through this. So
Yeah,
I don't want my tires getting towed up.
yeah.
I don't want your tires getting towed up.
Hey Doc, I remember where you might just see somebody throw a cigarette butt out the window, and then it went from a cigarette butt to maybe a bag of chips. Then it went from a bag of chips to
Whole Coney Island bag of French fries
a
just
whole
dumped.
bag, a
Like you dirty
McDonald's
ate the
bag.
chili
Like,
fries.
I couldn't believe it. I'm driving behind a guy that threw a whole bag of his Happy Meal out the window. I'm like, straight up, when we start doing that?
Mm-hmm. And I do notice the more I go out there religiously in the summer and sweep all that stuff up, other people I notice start taking care of it to
Yeah,
where we ain't gonna let you just throw all your beer bottles or whatever bottle and just
yeah,
have our street just looking like it's a hood. We're in
yeah.
the neighborhood, not the hood.
Yes, sir.
We ain't with that. Because
Yes,
you
sir.
ain't gonna do it across 8 Mile because you know they will lock you up and you're praying to your mama, man, pray for me, I gotta go to court.
Come on,
But
man.
but you ain't gonna do that in the cities of
No,
Detroit though.
no,
You don't care.
we got to step up because the reality of it is when we look at the equity of almost $4 billion that was created within just traversing the narrative of Detroit. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
changed. Yeah, folks may be buying houses and fixing them up, but the city is still as a whole what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, we giving kudos and accolades to Mayor Duggan. And hey, I'm gonna give it to him. Yeah, yeah, you came in, you policed it as you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
a business, which this is. Yeah, uh, this is not just what I'm saying, city government is not just a feel good enterprise. It's still a business. So how can we network with philanthropy? How can we network with corporations? How can we
Mm-hmm.
network to make this a better situation for everybody? But within that, there is still a huge gap that lies within the malfeasance of us as a community. So within
Yeah.
what we doing as a community, how can we come together to support each other to put a roof on the house, to
Mm-hmm.
fix to pick up the trash, to not just dump in front of a house that may be abandoned and blighted.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in your trash, put it in the trash bag, and put it in front of your own house. Like I mean, honestly, like
Yeah.
everybody has an opportunity to get bulk pickup. So why are you dumping in front of a house that I purchased that I'm trying to fix up? But now, not only am I got to fix it up, I got to get a ticket because you dumping in front of my house because it's been abandoned and blighted for 20 years, and I'm trying to improve the quality of life in the community. That
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm
I
trying to
feel
do
you.
different in. So at some point in time, collectively as a whole, we have to step up,
Yep.
pull our pants up,
Mm-hmm.
and step forward into the opportunities that real estate, that um um uh uh anything and everything, financial literacy, anything and
Mm-hmm.
everything that comes with appreciating where you're at. Because once again, once you cross 8 Mile, you're respectful of where you at, to the point to where if you're not, they're gonna make you respect where you at. So question yourself, why
Yep.
is that there and that's not here? Especially if you live in here. If you live in here, how can we transcend and translate that to the community that we're at? Because it equates to dollars and cents.
It absolutely do, because us getting the NFL draft and everybody, all the people that came saying, man, the trade is awesome. I want to come back. That was a huge thing to make all the major sports and any type of big events, like they held down the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Maybe we could come to Little Caesar or Ford Field or do something over here. They doing it like that.
Yeah. Record numbers,
Exactly. You got to
record,
capitalize on that.
no issues.
Nope.
Everybody showed up and showed out to be a part of the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
We can be a part of rebuilding our neighborhoods and our community, and it doesn't have to be no cameras there.
Nope.
Like if you want the Facebook fame, if you want the Instagram fluff, if you want all that, have at it. But the reality of it is, what you get from your neighbors and the neighborhood that you live in is so much more precious. I remember the first investment property that I bought. I bought through the Wayne County Land Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and it was off Tuxedo and like you know Livernois area or something of the sort. And I put a roof on the place. I started gutting the place, and then by the time I put a roof on it, it was people coming up to me like, "Hey man, nobody's done nothing to none of these houses over here in 20, 30 years. Thank
Right.
you." And then within that, it's like all we got to do is just be intentional
A
with
little hope.
trying to do, because it benefits us. It benefits our neighborhoods. When we ride through the community and you see all these swaths of overgrowth, all these vacant lots, who you think is going to rebuild that? Are you preparing yourself to rebuild this city? Are you preparing your children to rebuild this city? Are you going to sit on the forefront and watch somebody else come in and rebuild the communities that we allowed to be derelict and destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and miss out on equity that can benefit your legacy for not only your family but for future generations?
You're right. And with that, we're at the time to promote whatever you have going on. Floor is yours.
Hey, Gary Ringer. My company is Eco Environmental Solutions. We support residents in enhancing the quality of their life. That's through remediation of indoor air quality, asbestos abatement, lead abatement, mold abatement, but more so importantly, having a voice within yourself and a contractor or yourself or and a program that may be helping you to come and get your quality of life together within your home. We can help to support you to make sure your needs are pushed to the forefront. And for instance, you're not putting windows on your house when you need a roof. So please feel free to reach out. My contact information will be included within this webinar, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in today.
Awesome. Next question. What has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
Man, my biggest challenge has been being appreciated for showing up, and once again, I show up just because I want to see something different than what I've seen. And
Mm-hmm.
not only do I want to see something different, I want to get something different. It's one of the reasons why I started volunteering at an early age. It's one of the reasons why I got into construction. It's one of the reasons why I always wanted to be a journeyman, whether that be a contractor, a carpenter, whether that be
Okay.
whatever it may be. But within that being said, 86% of the construction workforce in Michigan is white men. And so within traversing within that workforce, I wasn't supported. And I wasn't supported until I just recently became a journeyman with Local 207 and the Specimen Abatement Contractors Union. And that opportunity has apprised me to seeing the opportunities that avail us within that workforce. We talking about $1 trillion industry within the construction field. We talking
Sure.
about trillions of dollars within real estate development. We talking about trillions of dollars within commercial development. So saying all that to say, I'm here just to be a footprint and hopefully passing this on to my kids or somebody else that's interested in like, hey, getting it in and then putting in the work. And granted, you may not be appreciated for the work that you putting in where you at, but you learning. And within learning, hey, this guy may be, you know what I'm saying, a knucklehead, go to somebody else. Pick up something from this knucklehead, pick up something from this guy, pick up something from somebody else, and get to the point to where you sharpen your sword to where you feel comfortable or you can go out on your own. You can start your own company and you can be a footprint in making this community better than what it is. And there's so many opportunities. Once again, you see them every time you cross 8 Mile. There's no reason why we can't see them where we're at.
And congrats on getting that journeyman, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You put some time in for that. In your words, what has been your impact in the community?
I think my impact has been simply once again showing up. Uh, I'm still my outside still doesn't match my inside, and until it does, I'm gonna keep grinding. And a lot of times we can be content in where we're at, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you know your burning desire is to do something more than what you're doing, keep grinding. And I kept grinding and I'm still grinding in order to get to where I want to be. And so that's my word is if you're not where you want to be, if your outside doesn't match your inside, keep grinding. It'll come to the point to where somebody will support the work that you're doing. It'll come to the point to where you'll feel comfortable doing the work that you're doing without looking for the kudos and accolades, without always having to, feel like you got to post and you got to do this and you got to do that. Just work work. Do the work. Once you
Yeah.
do the work, you're gonna get the accolades. You're gonna get what you're supposed to get.
Yeah, when I rebooted this show and God told me that this your ministry, he got me. I'm gonna try and do all that. And keep doing it. I'm like, man, I ain't making no money off this.
Yeah.
But people are getting reached and help. And
Amen.
these stories are phenomenal. I had the honor to sit and listen front row to. So God know everything. So I keep doing the work because eventually I'm able to have my building, do the red carpet treatment with people, bring them out to it, and really start impacting my community.
And you
Keep
are
growing.
because when I reached out to you and I asked you, like, man, how did I come across your radar? And you like, hey man, you said exactly what you just said. Like God spoke to me. And within that, I'm a God fearing man myself. And a lot of times people don't realize the people that are winning are people that are disciplined and are God fearing and are moving the needle within their lives because of their family and their communities and because what they know is going to make a difference within not only themselves but who they're serving, right? And
Mhm.
so like I'm not pushing anything on anybody, but what I am saying is I know it's a higher being. I know since I've made it a point to open up my Bible app. Some folks say, "Oh yeah, oh that don't count." Yeah, but hey, but I still get in my Bible too, and then I got what I'm saying a daily word. Like within that being said, it may be a couple days where I don't get into it, but I know since I've been intentional about being a God fearing man, it's helped my walk go to a whole nother
Mhm.
level. And so I greatly appreciate the invitation to be here today. I greatly appreciate what you're doing. I greatly appreciate regular folks getting the opportunity to have their voices heard. I greatly appreciate where you're going to go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, through the grace of God, brother, because being laid off for the second time within these few months, like I'm in the Job test or something. What's Man, I don't want to do nothing but sit in the corner, but no, that ain't your will. I know. You gotta keep doing interviews, keep going on there looking for people. Like,
Yeah.
but I got my mess. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you supply my needs. Yeah, okay. You ain't gotta get sassy. I got you. Get back to the work. Get back to posting. Get back to doing it.
Hey, you got it. No,
You know I need some money, so you gonna make that work. You gonna cover all this. So let's keep working.
Yeah.
And keep grinding and keep trying to be a blessing with it, because I had like 30 countries when I checked maybe
Wow.
a few months ago.
Okay.
It blew me away. I'm like, well, I ain't checked analytics, but let me see where I'm at. 40?
Wow.
China, Russia, Africa, Turkey, they rocking with your boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Your will, I know your will, not mine. You ain't gotta get sassy. Just keep doing it, and we're gonna keep reaching. Because I've had some people tell me they do appreciate regular people's stories that are being heard.
Hands down.
Because a lot of people, like someone might want to do something in your lane, but man, I don't know nobody doing that. And I don't
Yeah.
see no hope with it, and they're gonna come across this video like, oh, he like me. Man, I can do that.
Hey,
Let me start trying. Let me start researching. Let me get on it.
Yeah. Put in that work.
Part.
Put in that work. I've been working since I was 14. Like I say, my outside still doesn't match my inside.
Brother, yo, same man. First job was a car wash.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah. Volunteered, all that good stuff. Fire department, nonprofit, emergency response. You name it, I've done it, and I'm still grinding. All I'm saying, a couple associate's degrees, still trying to put my big boy pants on, get my bachelor's. So to
You're
the
gonna
folks
get that.
the folks that think that the letters behind your name matter, they don't. Just grind, just work. Find out what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about it, keep putting anything and everything into it. And honestly, if you're not, like, that's cool too. If you like to just take care of your family and go to work and grind, ain't nothing wrong with that. You ain't got to be an entrepreneur. You
Nope.
don't have to be. Oh,
No, you don't.
yeah, you don't have to be any of that. You can be whatever it is that you are. I appreciate regular folks. And so many times, like, if you get to into scrolling and into all this other stuff, you can think that you don't equate to what other people are doing. You do. We the ones that keep this whole wheel moving. The middle class, the working folks. We
Yep.
the ones that do it. It's nothing wrong with just being a regular folk that's taking care of your family. Step up, take care of your family, create a legacy, have a will, make sure that you being intentional within what you do, and anything and everything that you want will come to fruition.
And I bring it to that Yoda game. You pretty much just said it, but what advice do you have someone trying to find a purpose? I guess what you just said.
That's it. Grinding. Keep grinding.
This your first interview?
I've been on a few, but I think this might be one of my best.
So did I live by my tagline where we treat you like family? You felt comfortable, relaxed?
Oh man, beyond that, man. And that, like I said, that's why I called you. And then when you said what you said, it wasn't what I was expecting to hear, but I was appreciative of it, and that made me feel more relaxed. And I watched a couple of the old podcasts, and
same format. Same format, all about you.
I wanted to make sure that I came on and I gave you where I was at and what I was doing, and I'm glad and once again appreciative of the opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing, because hell, someone need, hey, you was encouraging me like, hey, you going to do stuff, but these interviews ain't gonna interview themselves, man. People ain't gonna find themselves. Keep grinding.
Keep grinding.
Keep working. And that's what you got to do, because it's going to pay off at some point. I mean, God already know, like, okay, you're going to get your bachelor's by next year. From there, he going to meet this person, that person, and he going to be doing this big time. He already know all that. We just got to stay on track. As long as we stay on track with what he already saw, don't get discouraged. Don't listen to that crazy person, because it's going to veer off to the left side. Like, he's supposed to be done by 27. Now he's going to be 2030 because he's about to be over here doing this wild stuff.
Yeah.
That's for them people.
And I'm 49. I'll be 50 this June.
You look good, brother.
Yeah. And even within that, like we put numbers on this and we want to do certain things, but I think a lot of times our youth don't realize you're gonna have a multiple of different careers,
Yeah.
different things that's gonna transition within your life. So just be open and understand like your walk is gonna be your walk regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So and even if you at the stage in your career where you're retiring, it's not over. You can still have a whole nother life, a whole nother walk, a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother purpose. So if your outside doesn't match your inside, keep grinding.
And when you get to your true destination, you're gonna sit back. So my childhood, all the stuff I went to prepared me for this.
Amen.
Cause you think, man, this don't make no sense. Well, I see hell everywhere I go. What is going on? But when you get there, like that's
Amen.
toughing you up
Yeah.
for what you have to slap around. Cause these people over here they don't play fair.
Yeah.
You need to be this tough to like, man, look at be quiet. You're gonna do this. Ain't
Amen.
got time what you're talking about. We doing it. And it's your journey. And hopefully encourage somebody else.
Absolutely.
So true. Well, we want to thank, we got to add this new information, retired firefighter, E. Flowers, public safety philanthropist, community champion, and eco-environmental solutions CEO Gary Ringer for sharing this journey. His website is on the screen. This has been an awesome one. Another great one for season 14. Wow, that's crazy to say that. A lot of bad scheduling. A lot of bad scheduling. About 22. A lot of bad scheduling.
Yes, sir.
But still, season 14, and I'm humbled that you shared your story. You're part of middle ground. Anything I can do to help or bring awareness to stuff you got going on, let me know. If you need to come back, talk about something, just let a brother know. We can do that. I mean, we can't get to where you're trying to go without each other. That's my mindset.
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Now, if you want, you can click off because I'm about to sing the outro. We don't do that countdown stuff over here.
Oh no, I'm gonna listen to you sing.
I appreciate that. Now 313 Detroit raised me. Detroit sent me. Can't nothing stop me. 313 Detroit love the Motor City. Detroit love. Can't nothing stop me. Detroit love. I love my city. Detroit love. All right, folks. Another great episode. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Till next time.
Have a good one.